So the Salem's Lot remake has finally been released. I say finally because, as you know, the road to release for this movie has been rocky, to say the least. Completed back in 2021 and first scheduled for release in 2022, the movie was then postponed to 2023 before finally just being removed altogether from Warner Brothers' slate of upcoming releases. The movie subsequently fell into limbo and some doubted whether it would ever see the light of day or not. Then the announcement was made. Salem's Lot would premiere on Max today, October 3rd. From being a fairly high-profile adaptation of one of Stephen King's most beloved novels, produced by James Wan and given a wide theatrical release from a major studio, to being shot out on a streamer at 3 o'clock in the morning. Not a good sign. And yes, if I look tired, it's because I was up at 3 o'clock in the morning to watch this thing. Stick around to the end of the video to hear Jeremy's thoughts on Salem's Lot. I love Salem's Lot. The book is great. The Tobe Hooper miniseries from 1979 is a classic. The TNT miniseries from 2004 starring Rob Lowe, Rutger Hauer, and Donald Sutherland is pretty darn good too. So yeah, I was excited about seeing a new Salem's Lot movie. Despite the delays, the rumors of how awful it is, the test screenings that seemingly confirmed its awfulness, I still went into the movie with my expectations tempered and my fingers crossed. But right out the gate, this new iteration of Salem's Lot, written and directed by Gary Dauberman, just feels off. It's the generic, vintage, chromatic look. It's the odd performances, the dim-witted dialogue, the as if done by hacksaw editing, the overuse of underwhelming CGI, everything. I kept thinking it'll even out. Maybe after the awkward character introductions, maybe after the vampires start to take over, maybe after it's an all-out fight for survival against Barlow's hordes of the undead, maybe... Oh wait, it's over. It even has that kind of feel, like, oh, that's it? And for a movie that's nearly 2 hours long, they leave so much out, and what they leave in bears so little substance. For instance, the whole backstory of the Marston house and its impact on Ben Mears and his decision to return to Salem's Lot. All that's gone, but it was clearly filmed because Derek Mears is credited as playing Hubie Marston in the closing credits. You take all that out, reducing the Marston house, which itself is a character in the story, to just an old and not even all that scary house. However, you keep in a scene where a kid hides from vampires inside a treehouse, and the vampires can't get into the treehouse because they haven't been invited into the treehouse. I'm not sure how property rights work with the undead. Maybe the kid's name was on the deed. Maybe the vampires went down and checked at the clerk's office. But it's a freaking treehouse. Other nonsensical changes to the story are made too. Instead of the awesomely creepy, "Look at me, teacher" scene, we get a cheap and poorly executed boo scare. The demise of Susan, a torturous, heartbreaking scene for Ben, being the man who loves her, now having to drive a stake into her heart because she's been turned into a blood-sucking freak, is now a dumb action sequence where the end result has zero effect on Ben. He wined her, dined her, won her heart, and then drove a stake into it, and then was out. Typical man. Am I right, ladies? And the most famous scene from Salem's Lot, the tapping on the window, the "let me in, Mark" scene, is so CGI'd. It looks like a video game, a bad video game. And when it comes to the use or overuse of CGI in this movie, all I can say is CGI fog. Lots and lots of CGI fog. It's like they edited down a 3+ hour movie into a 2-hour movie and cut out all the good stuff. For instance, there's an insanely jarring edit that occurs when in one scene a character is recovering from a vampire attack surrounded by friends, and in the very next scene, he's somehow teleported to Barlow's basement. He's just chilling down there, in the dark, all alone. And the purpose of his presence there is to provide a jump scare. And everything happens so fast. There's no sense of place, no sense of community. Salem's Lot itself, the town, is a huge presence in the story too, but not here. It's like the entire town of Salem's Lot is comprised of a dozen or so people, and that's it. And Barlow takes over in what seems like a matter of a couple of days, from quaint little small town to Vampire Haven over the course of a weekend. I don't think we can lay blame entirely at the feet of Gary Dauberman for this disaster. I mean, for a movie to be this bad, it takes a village. What blame you definitely can lay at the feet of Dauberman is the acting and the dialogue. Some actors go way too big here. Some go way too small. Some go way too just bad. The dialogue certainly doesn't do the actors any favors. The moments that are supposed to be humorous and quippy aren't. And there's nothing like a group of characters sitting around and discussing vampire mythology and all the ways you can kill a vampire with a straight face. Because, as we all know, a vampire's weaknesses are cinema's greatest secret. As for the vampires themselves, I thought the overall vampire look was pretty weak. They do go with the classic Nosferatu-style look for Barlow here, but it's not that impressive. It just kind of looked like a Spirit Halloween mask with some CGI smeared on it. Everything comes to a head at the town drive-in during the slowest sunset in the history of sunsets. Can you tell that I didn't like this movie? Salem's Lot is exactly what you would expect from a movie that was shelved for years and eventually dumped on a streaming platform. Only worse. It honestly shouldn't have been released at all. It's a complete and utter disaster that all involved with should be ashamed of. But seriously, it really sucks. Let me know your thoughts on Salem's Lot down in the comments section below. Was this a movie that you eagerly anticipated for all these years? Did it live up to your expectations? Did it exceed your expectations? Or did it not? Or was it worse than what you had expected, which is entirely possible? Let me know down in the comments. If you like this video, please leave it a thumbs up and share it on social media. If you're not following me on social media, those links are in the description. As always, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Take care, and until next time, peace. Hey, Bubba.
Yes?
You just finished watching the new Salem's Lot movie. You've been looking forward to this movie for a long time. It's finally out. Are you giving me a Barlow look right there?
Yes.
Are you giving me give me an evil Barlow look again?
Yes.
Oh, that was scary, Bubba. So the movie's finally out. You just sat and watched it. I'm eager to hear your thoughts. So what are your thoughts on the new Salem's Lot?
Sucks.
Direct and to the point. Direct and to the point. You're not beating around the bush on this one, Bubba. So you were not... You didn't like it.
Yes.
It was a bit of a disappointment.
Yes.
It was a bit of a disappointment. But, you know, I appreciate the candor. I appreciate the direct... What was something that you did like about it?
Old Salem's Lot miniseries.
Yeah, that's a much better... That's a much better movie, miniseries, whatever you want to call it, by far. It's not even close. But what's one thing you did like about the new Salem's Lot?
Nice.
Nice. Okay. So you can't think of anything. You can't think of anything that you liked about it.
Yes.
Say one positive thing about the new Salem's Lot.
Cool.
Cool. Okay. Fair enough. All right, there's Jeremy's thoughts on the new Salem's Lot. What do you want to say to everybody, Bubba?
Peace.
A huge thank you to all my patrons and channel members for your generosity and support. Become a patron today and get early access to videos, have a say in what content appears on my channel, join me for monthly live streams, exclusive watch parties, and more. Become a channel member today and get access to exclusive badges and emotes to use when I stream, as well as members-only watch parties. Both those links are in the description. Say hello to the internet, Jeremy.
Hello to the internet.